Hello. So I've got lots of things going on. This is a live broadcasting behind the scenes consultation. So this is what I do, and I love it. So Kristin is going to be joining me in just a sec, and then so I haven't met Kristin yet. All we've had the contact is through Instagram, and then she's filled in my intake form for me, and I've seen her test results. And so now I can turn that off. I was going to get distracted. Never mind. Okay, so yeah, we haven't met yet. So you're going to see just how it would go with a normal consult. Oh, I love it. Okay, so Kristin, if you're there, come on in. In the meantime, I'll say hi to everyone on Instagram. I am recording this. It'll be on my YouTube channel, probably when you're watching it now. My Instagram is Kirsten Swales Naturopath, so you can just join me there. Amazing. Okay, so while I'm waiting for Kristin, I can just tell you that a little bit about me. So I'm Kirsten Swales, and I work as a naturopath online. I do online consultations. I do private coaching. I also do group coaching programs. Look out for my online course coming up soon. And I really, really enjoy what I do. So I had a history of digestive issues most of my life, and then found out in 2016 that SIBO was the cause of it. So SIBO is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. It's a jerk. And so that was what was going on. How it made me feel was, okay, she is. I felt tired. I felt bloated. I had food intolerances. It was crap. Okay. Not sure. So there she is. I can't see you. Participants. Attendees. Allowed to talk more. Promote to panelist. Cool. Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Gallery view, speaker view. Cool, amazing. I'm excited. This is really cool.
Me too. I've been waiting for so long. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Do you want to click out of this one and go to Instagram and then see if you can join my live? So just click on my. No problems.
Okay, let's see. Live.
Yay. And then can you request to join? Yes. Kristin can request you go live with Kristin. This is so fun.
Okay.
Okay. Waiting for Kristin here. Cool. Okay. And then come back to Zoom.
Okay. There we go.
Oh, I'm not sure if you're going to stay on Instagram. No. Okay. That would have been cool, but that's okay. Never mind.
Sorry.
Okay. Not at all. Not at all. Okay. Sorry. Maybe can remove Kristin. Oh, good. Okay. Tapping a photo video. Go away. Okay. Cool. Amazing. And then if you can do me a favor and turn your phone that way. Cool.
Okay.
It's so nice to meet you.
There we go.
Cool. Nailed it. Amazing. So thank you for joining me for this. This is going to be super fun.
Thank you.
Okay, so I have got your intake form back. Thank you so much for filling that in. And then what we're going to do today, I have gone through that already and I've had a look at your test results. And then I'm just going to ask you different questions and get more information in words. And that's going to tell me more things and lead on to other questions. Okay. I'm going to take notes as we go. And then I also give you the most important things that I want you to remember. So you're welcome to take notes if you like, but you don't need to.
Okay.
Okay. So on your form, you said that you've had digestive issues for about 20 years, but can even remember as a child. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
I never had any stomach pains or anything, but I remember going long periods of time without being able to go or have a bowel movement.
Yep.
But I just never, my parents never asked about it. My stomach never hurt, so it wasn't ever, an issue that I was aware of. So that's the only thing I really remember as a kid, is not being able to go to the bathroom that often. And I didn't really develop any issues until probably later on in my early 20s.
Yep.
Once I started having kids.
Mm.
And yeah, then it just progressed. After my third child, it just got worse. So,
and then if you remember, how many times would you have a bowel motion when you were a child, roughly?
So what I do remember is maybe going even like a week or two without having one as a kid. And so I don't remember much else than that, but it wasn't like that every time. But I remember it being, man, I haven't gone to the bathroom for a long time. So, but I think it was decently regular for the most part, but at times I would be pretty constipated. I would always get headaches. My mom would say, "Oh, you're probably constipated. Go drink some water." So
yes, that does that too. It's mostly because like no one really talks about how often you should be going until like we get a little bit older. I had no idea until I started studying to become a naturopath. I was like, oh shit, we're meant to go every day.
Right. I know.
How is it now?
So right now I've actually been going to the bathroom a little bit more often because I've had just a crazy year of health issues. And back in December, I started a new thyroid medication. And I started taking iron as well because my ferritin is very low. And the doctor had originally prescribed or wanted me to do iron IVs. And I had a bad reaction. So we thought I had a virus, didn't know it, went and got an IV. And I got really, really sick right after that. So I had some PTSD with trying that again. So I just started taking the capsules. Well, that slowed down my bowel movements and, made me gassy. And I honestly think, and I've heard that iron can feed bacteria. So it really didn't help. I've been taking it for about 4 months. It didn't do anything. So I stopped taking the iron, and I'm actually doing the iron IVs once every week and a half or so. So now that I'm not taking it, I'm having a bowel movement almost every day, sometimes even twice now, which is really, really rare, like crazy for me. I've never, even before, in the past few years when I've been able to go regularly, I've never been able to go twice. So really, I mean, that is good. Yeah, for me, that is amazing because, yeah.
Do you know what your B12 was like? Because often like iron and B12 are low with SIBO.
Mine wasn't too bad. I did a micronutrient test last year and it wasn't low or borderline or anything. My borderline B vitamins were B6 and B3. Is that a thing? I think it was for those two. I have my tests. I mean, I can go back and look eventually. But I don't think my B12 was low. When I took that test, I was taking a B complex for a while. So I don't know if that had helped. But I don't know now. I don't know now what it is since I haven't done it for about a year.
That's okay. So then tell me now about your digestive symptoms. So like you're super tired, which is really hard. It affects you on a scale of 1 to 10, 8 out of 10. And then I think you ticked nearly every box on my form for like all the digestive symptoms.
And I think when I this last month, I feel like I've been in a flare and I kind of feel like I'm feeling a little bit better, but I was feeling pretty terrible when I was filling out the forms. I might be feeling a tiny bit better now, but it's still, I'm still not feeling great. So I'm very tired. I of course have bloating and gas, and I honestly I just haven't been feeling well. My stomach's been upset lately. I don't really feel like eating. So I'm really not eating very much, which I know is terrible, but I just don't feel well when I do. So I don't know what to do. You know, I drink, back when I was sick in December, my doctor had me start taking Thorne Mediclear SGS shake, and I love it. And so like I'm pretty much having that twice a day, and then I try to eat a little bit more, but I just don't feel good. I've been getting rashes this last few weeks on my arms and my knees and my hands. What else?
Have you had them before?
No, I've never really had a problem with rashes. So this is that's kind of new for me.
Do you have one at the moment? Oh my gosh,
I do. I can't really see it because it's not red. It's like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Is it itchy?
Yeah, they're itchy.
Is it a puppy?
It's a golden doodle. Yeah.
What's its name?
His name is Kaz.
Kaz. Have you seen my gold?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have seen him. He's so cute.
That's other.
We love him. Gosh,
okay.
What else?
Let's stay on the rash. Let's stay on the rash for a bit. So when did it come up?
I started probably about a week and a half ago is when the rash, well, maybe 2 weeks ago for my knees, and then about a week ago for my elbow and my hands.
Okay. Any idea what might have triggered it?
I thought maybe it was because I had a cold.
Okay.
And I thought, like I had told you, I thought maybe I was getting shingles again. Just because my immune system is so shot right now. But my arm, I don't have any blisters, and I think maybe it could just be the post, what is it called? Post-herpetic neuralgia or something like that. You know, when you can still have the pain post shingles, maybe it was just activated because it does still hurt a little bit, but no blisters, so I'm good.
It can come from like the skin. Anytime there's like an itis, like we hear like dermatitis or something like that, is inflammation of. And I often find like with our digestive system, because we want to be excreting through our urine and our food, but if we can't kind of keep up with the load that the body is trying to clean out, it can come out through the skin. So if you don't feel like it's in that shingle sort of pattern, it's pretty common to get some sort of dermatitis when there's inflammation in the gut. I went through your doctor's data stool test. So those results kind of show that there wasn't too much inflammation, which is really good news. But it did show that your secretory IgA was on the lower side, which is kind of the immune in the gut. So like super low. Yeah,
it was.
Do you have anything to put on it? So sometimes like chickweed, if you can find chickweed cream is very like anti-itching, and calendula cream is very cooling, and coconut is anti-inflammatory as well. So it's pretty good.
Okay. I love coconut oil. I mean, I use that.
Coconut
it's not
oil.
too bad. It's not like terribly itchy. It's just, I don't know. It's just odd for me. I rarely get rashes. So, and then I was getting, it's kind of cleared up a bit, but I had probably dermatitis on my chin for probably 6 months. It's still red, more red than any area of my face, but it doesn't seem to be as bad. It's not bumpy. It's not itchy anymore. So I don't know. So it doesn't seem to be as bad, but yeah. I'm trying to think of other symptoms.
Oh, there's heaps. They all come out. Don't worry.
Okay, there's so many.
So many. Let's go back to your digestive system.
Okay.
So how soon after eating do you get the bloating?
It just depends. Sometimes I will get gas like a minute after eating, a vegetable or a food. And sometimes it's just weird because sometimes I can eat a food and be fine. And then another time I'll eat the same food and have all these issues. And I'm starting to realize now maybe it's the amount I'm eating. So
also, talk about like the bucket, like how full your bucket load is. Because then if you have a food allergy, it's an IgE immune-mediated response, and that kind of goes through the whole body. So that can be like when people get the anaphylaxis, and it's like a shellfish, nut, or eggs as well. But if you have a food intolerance, then it's an IgG immune-mediated response, and it kind of stays within the digestive system. And then that one is dose dependent. And then if you have like a big flare and it's involved the IgG, it tends to take 3 days for the immune system to come back down. So say you've got a bucket and your bucket load is pretty low and you've put in some water, then it might just raise the levels up. So that could be the one time that you eat that food and you raise the levels, but you still way under, so it's okay. But then if, say, one day your levels have been higher and you try to add in that same amount or that same food, it's already high, then it overflows, and that's when it causes the symptoms.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's why sometimes I don't understand.
Yeah, so and then sometimes it might not be for a day or so that I am bloated, and sometimes it lasts for weeks, and sometimes it lasts a day until I go to the bathroom the next day and I'm fine. But then other times I'll clear out and I'm just, and it's not like I have any stool in me anymore, it's gas, you know. So yeah, it can be anywhere from a minute to a day or two later that I notice it.
Okay. And then do you get like the 6 months pregnant kind of bloating? Like, does it?
I'm huge. I've been saying that for years. I'm like, I look like I'm 6 months pregnant.
Yeah.
Not like 9 months. Some people, you know, say 9 months. I don't get that big, but I get the round 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that. I had that one as well. And I showed a friend of mine and she's like, you're just sticking it out. I was like, no, actually that just happens.
No, I know.
Do you wake up in the morning with a flat stomach and then it increases, or is it just kind of starts in the morning already?
Sometimes I will wake up with a flat stomach, and then it will increase. And some days I'll have great bowel movement and it won't bloat at all. But that's rare these days. It's almost been constant. And some days I'll wake up feeling bloated, but if I go to the bathroom, it'll help. But I don't feel like I've been not bloated for a long time. At least a little bit, you know? So yeah.
And then what foods are good for you and what foods aren't good for you, if you've noticed?
So at this point, I don't even know. I don't even know what is bothering me, because I feel like I'm eating so little and still bloated and gassy or backed up. I know I think I'm pretty good with meat. I think I'm okay with meat and zucchini. I had white rice tonight with zucchini just because I needed to eat something. And I feel okay. I don't feel terrible. I'm not gassy or anything right now. But honestly, I feel like I don't know right now. I've done so many restricted diets over the last 5 years, and I still can't tell you what is bothering me. You know, if it's food or if it's whatever, the SIBO, you know, I don't know.
What are the restricted diets that you tried? I think you did the Candida diet.
Right. So when I found out I had Candida, I did the Candida diet. And then I tried the body ecology diet with Candida, and I did the ultimate Candida diet with Kristin or Recchio. That one I really, really liked because she allows you to eat carbs with each meal, just a limited amount. And I know I still have a strain of Candida still, but I feel like it really, really did wonders and brought it down so much. It was really bad before. So I did that one. I really liked that program. But like I said, I thought that so many foods have bothered me for so long. I really didn't have any diversity. You know, I ate the same thing every day. The 3 vegetables that I eat, and you know, sweet potatoes and rice.
Yeah. So what I find, if someone has kind of come to me and they're really restricted, this was a mistake that I made as well. So I got so restricted for so long because pretty much chicken and eggs was anything that didn't make me bloat. So I did that for way too long. And then I kind of painted myself into a corner with my microbiome. So it's on top of the large intestinal one. Come back from that, slow and steady wins the race. And I go on and on about the microbiome diversity. And then we get that diversity from the diversity of our foods. And then like the ultimate sort of goal is 40 plus plant foods per week. But you can totally take your time to get there. And the way to get there, if you haven't been having it, is having like really, really small amounts of food. So it could be like a teaspoon of tomatoes, if you have tomatoes, and then like a tablespoon of red pepper if you haven't been having that. And that's enough to just start making up the different kinds of bacteria to do that. Yeah. So that's totally fine.
What do you suggest when we add in these things a little at a time, do we just eat a meal of food we know that we're okay with and then just add a little bit of that food too?
Yeah. So I love starting with the biphasic diet. So that was like Narala Jacobi. And foods are, I'll show you a little thing. So these foods I find are the least likely to cause any symptoms because they're really in the fermentable carbohydrates. So if we get the bloating, so the bloating can come from the bacteria if it's in the small intestine and in the large intestine. If the bloating happens within 2 hours after eating, you think about the small intestine. If it happens after 2 hours, you think the large intestine, and you can have both. And so these foods that are on the biphasic diet, they are low in the fermentable carbohydrates, and they're also really anti-inflammatory. So you're taking away the triggers that might be causing your bucket to overflow to give you the symptoms. And it just calms things down. So I really like starting with this one. I'll just share my screen. I will put these in a Google Drive folder for you afterwards, so you can have them as well. And so this is my little, can you see that?
Yes.
Cool. Okay. So there's a blue column, the green column, and the red column. And then the ones in the unlimited mean that you can have like sort of any serving size from them. And then the one where it specifies the serving size, that's how much your body tends to be able to handle before having a reaction. So this is where it becomes the difference between an allergy and an intolerance, and it's a dose dependent thing. So you might be able to handle one asparagus spear. Who has one asparagus spear? So you can have one and probably not notice any symptoms, but if you try and have 8, then that might be too much for your body to break down before the other bacteria get it to cause the symptoms and cause the reactions. And so when you go slow and steady, so if you haven't had asparagus for a couple of years because last time you had it, it caused a reaction. If you have just the one asparagus spear and you don't get a reaction, then it starts to create like a positive reinforcement with your body. Because it's super common to get food fear. Like I had such bad food fear when I had SIBO. Like I couldn't eat anything that I hadn't cooked myself because I didn't know how I was going to feel and get bloated. When that happens, like even if we have this food fear, even before we eat the food, then our body, if you think about what happens in your body, like everything just contracts and like your stomach will contract. And that goes into your sympathetic nervous system, which is your fight and flight. So the body thinks it's under attack. And so even before the food gets in there, it's already rejecting it. Whereas if you relax with your food and then if you no longer fear it, then the digestive system is secure and you go into your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and your digest. So that's why I love for you to find a way to bring more foods in without causing the symptoms over time.
Right.
So what you would do, so the blue column is like the least reactive foods. So everybody starts in the blue column, and then how long you stay in the blue column will depend on how quickly your symptoms improve. So at the moment you said on the form, you said your symptoms were an 8 out of 10. So if that's still true for today, then you want to bring your symptoms down to at least half. So getting your bloating down to a 4 out of 10, and then you can gently start experimenting with foods in the green column and bringing them in. Not too much changes apart from the serving size and fruit. So in the blue column, there's only lemons and lime. And then when you start to get a lot lower and start to feel a lot better, then you can start bringing fruit. Now I love it. So it is a restricted diet again, but I find that it's often for people the first time that they can eat without symptoms. So it's freedom in the restriction, if that makes sense.
Right.
Okay. Have you noticed any foods that are the worst for you?
Cruciferous vegetables.
Okay.
How
are you with eggs?
What was that?
How are you with eggs?
I don't know. So I know I have an immune response to them, according to my allergy or my food intolerance test. Eggs and dairy are very high. I have a high intolerance for. But I just don't know. I don't feel like I get a reaction right away. So I'm thinking that eggs might be something I take a couple days to react to. I'm not sure with that yet. I know with dairy, I get gas right away. I break out.
What sort of breakout, like pimples or eczema?
Yes, and pimples. Gosh, I have my notebook somewhere. I should have grabbed it. So a lot of vegetables I react to. If I eat too much sweet potato, I will have gas.
How much is too much?
Probably more than half a cup. So anything over half a cup, I will have a problem with. But then there's days when I am backed up and haven't gone to the bathroom and everything causes a reaction, you know? So I don't know if it's because everything's fermenting in there or what, but
yeah, it is.
I'm gonna grab my notebook.
Have you always
sorry.
Sorry, have you always had an issue with dairy, or is it quite a new thing?
Not that I remember. Yeah, not that I remember until things have kind of gone south ever since we moved back to our hometown maybe 10 years ago. Oh, garlic and onions. Those are probably my two biggest offenders. And that's when I realized like something is wrong. I stopped eating garlic about 2 years ago because it was just, I didn't know what was happening. I was making this healthy stir fry and I was putting a ton of garlic in it. And then afterwards I'm like, gosh, I smell terrible. Like, and I finally figured out it was garlic. And so even just the other day, I had some on accident at a friend's house. It was on the steak. And I was just like, I gotta go home. But
that's super
onion, yes, I know it's common, and I'm like glad to hear that. And then onions just give me terrible headaches. So yeah.
So there can be a couple things going on there. So onions and garlic are really high in something called fructans, and the SIBO love fructans. And then something else that you've said, so with the cruciferous veggies and then maybe the eggs and then the onions and the garlic, all of those are also very high sulfur foods. So then there's something else called hydrogen sulfide SIBO. So sometimes that's a thing as well. At the moment, they haven't released the test to definitively test for hydrogen sulfide SIBO, but you want to do it, figure it out from symptoms that you're having. And then you can also do a U-biome. So I know you did the doctor's data, and then we'll go through that as well. So with the doctor's data, it kind of tells you, I'll show you. It's nice to explain it. Share screen again. This one. So where's the beginning? So with the doctor's data, so it tells you like the 2+ or NG 2+, NG 1+, 2+. So what that means is there is some of your Bacteroides, then the NG is no growth. But that there is 0 in there. So your bifidobacterium and your lactobacilli, they are your good guys. So bifidobacterium, and the SPP is the species because there's all the different kinds of bifidobacterium. And a lot of the bifidobacterium help with motility through the digestive system. So if they're on the lower side, it's definitely staying flat. And then lactobacilli is big involved with our immune system. The Lactobacillus rhamnosus is very good for skin stuff, so that could definitely help with your itchy things. But you want to make sure that the SIBO is gone before you start putting in too much of them. There's things that you can have with at the same time as SIBO, like we got Lactobacilli reuteri is one that helps to reduce the methane levels, but doesn't feed the SIBO. So that's pretty rad.
Yes, I was taking a probiotic a little while ago. I started taking a new one because I have no good gut bacteria in my colon. And it just gave me horrible gas and bloating. So I stopped taking that. And that's when we started realizing I might have something else going on. So yeah.
Do you remember the probiotic that you were taking?
It's by the doctor I actually see for my thyroid. It's called Flora Restore.
Flora Restore?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good one. That's awesome. Okay. So, did you get your notebook? Was there something?
What was that?
Did you go get your notebook? Was that what you were doing?
I did. I was just trying. I thought I had written down a few more things, but and other foods that bother me. Gosh, like I said, I just feel like it's everything right now. Even sometimes cooked carrots. I'll cook carrots to make them a little bit more easy to digest, and I'll still have a reaction to that. I just don't have very much diversity with my food right now, so there's really not much, thing. Asparagus, I know I do because I eat too many when I do eat them. They're just so good.
What would be really good? I'll get you to do, I think let's do more sessions. I'll get you to do a food journal for me. So I've got like an editable one that I'll put in the Google Drive folder for you, and you can just fill it in and you write down what you ate, the time that you ate it, and then I've got all these different symptoms and you just circle them if they happen, and then what time and the scale of 1 to 10. And then we go together and we can kind of make connections. So just like I did with all the high sulfur things that you were eating. And I can see, well, you had in this and it didn't feel so good, so we did this. And then bit by bit, we can just kind of experiment with different foods. I kind of suggest kind of starting with, say, 5. Probably this first couple of days, I wouldn't change anything, just so I can see where you're at. And then from day 4, you can just put some new things back in and we'll see how your body responds to that.
Okay.
What's probably happening in your digestive system is that it's sore and irritated and inflamed. So just like, say, I like to use the example of the inside of your cheek. If you bite the inside of your cheek or you've got an ulcer, your natural instinct would just be to eat on the other side. But we can't really do that with our digestive tract. But this is a mucous membrane, and that's the same lining all the way through our digestive tract, just different textures, different functions. So if that is irritated and inflamed, then everything you put in there can just hurt. So you just want to heal that up. So I often find healing up the digestive tract, just doing that increases your tolerance. And then these foods from the biphasic diet, they're super anti-inflammatory. And then if someone's got SIBO or digestive issues for a while, the chances of leaky gut are pretty high. So leaky gut is so you should have these tight junctions in your gut that should lock together like teeth and should be nice and strong. And then what should happen is that only small things can get through. So like your vitamins and minerals and your individual amino acids. If the gut becomes irritated and inflamed, and gluten can do it as well, then the gut can become leaky and the tight junctions separate. And then bigger things that aren't meant to get through into the bloodstream. So like whole proteins and amino acids. And if that starts happening, so if you've got the inflammation in your digestive tract, then you can get inflammation body-wide. And then you can also get inflammation, there's like a blood-brain barrier, which is similar to the gut one. And then you can get inflamed brain. It sounds really weird, but that can cause feelings of brain fog, that can cause feelings of depression as well. There are certain kinds of bacteria that are grouped together as gram-negative bacteria, and they're the not good bacteria. And you got a couple of them from your stool test. And these gram-negative bacteria, they've got something called lipopolysaccharides that make up the shell of them. And then when they dump their shell into the digestive tract, it's really inflammatory. And then if the lipopolysaccharides get into your bloodstream and into the brain, that causes feelings of depression. And that's actually the pharmaceutical antidepressants, as they inject the mice with lipopolysaccharides, give them pharmaceuticals and see if it's effective. Pretty sad.
Yeah. And I've definitely been more anxious lately. I dealt with anxiety and depression last year really bad. And we thought it was my thyroid. And so, but since getting my thyroid under control, it's been better, but it's starting to come back. So yes, that would be nice to get of.
When did it start coming back?
I've noticed it again, maybe in the last 6 weeks or so.
Okay.
It's been more consistent, and usually when I feel anxious, I was thinking it was my iron. But now since being in this flare, it's been worse, and so just noticed it more.
How are you sleeping at the moment?
I'm sleeping pretty well, actually. I take natural calm magnesium every night. I take it a lot. And then I take PS 100, phosphatidylserine, if that's how you say it. So I've been sleeping pretty well these last few weeks, I think, because I'm just so tired. But I'm waking up tired. And so, but, you know, a month and a half ago, I was sleeping terribly. I was unable to fall asleep, waking up at 3. So, but then it goes through phases where that'll happen, and then I'll sleep really well for a few months, and then it goes back and forth.
Okay. Let's go through your energy levels throughout the day. I'm going to ask you on a scale of 1 to 10 when you wake up in the morning, whatever time it is, and then around 8 a.m., 12 p.m., 4 p.m., 8 p.m. Where would you put your energy?
Where do I have the most energy?
If you tell me on a scale of 1 to 10 where your energy is when you wake up, and then where it is at 8 a.m., 12 p.m., 4 p.m.,
okay.
8 p.m.
So when I wake up, it's probably a 6. I usually can get up okay. I'm just tired. And then about 8 o'clock, I'm feeling pretty good. It's probably about a 7 or an 8. Okay. And then by 10, you said, or 12?
Oh, 12.
12 is when I'm tired. I usually start feeling pretty tired around 10. So between 10 and 1, I'm really tired. And even through the afternoon, I'm exhausted. Okay. And then, of course, the cravings come on right around 3 or 4. And sometimes I'm tired. And 12. And then was there another time after that? Sorry.
It's okay. 8 p.m. So 12 p.m.
Sometimes I have energy at 8 and I can be up for another hour or 2. And then other times I'm in bed. Okay. So some weeks are better than others.
On a scale of 1 to 10, where would you be at 12 p.m.?
Oh, sorry. Let's say like a 3.
And then 4 p.m.?
Like a 3.
Wow. And then 8.
I'll say 5.
So what cravings do you get around 3 or 4 p.m.?
I want to eat everything.
Wow.
But I don't feel good, you know, and yeah. So I either want to have a bunch of sweets or something salty. I don't know, just something to eat because I'm not feeding myself appropriately anyways. So yeah.
And even like if you are eating the best diet in the whole wide world, your digestive function at the moment sounds really low. So you can have the best diet in the whole wide world, but if you can't break it down and absorb it, then you don't make it. Then you
right. And there are times, you know, 6 months ago I was eating great, 3 great meals a day, but I still had those cravings.
Yeah. The salty cravings can show something like the adrenals. So adrenal health is so lovely.
Yeah.
So our adrenal glands help us just cope physically, mentally, and emotionally. And so then sometimes it's not so much how much stress we have in our life, but just how much our body can respond to it, or how well our body can respond to it.
Right.
If you're waking up around 3 a.m., then that's the time where like the cortisol starts to kick back in. So cortisol is one of our stress hormones and helps us make really good decisions. So if our levels are already on the higher side and then we try and it starts to kick back in again, it's just like enough to like, So that's good that it's come down. That's really nice. Do you ever get dizzy if you stand up really quickly?
Not as bad as I used to. It was really bad last year. I've been taking an adrenal support.
I just saw on your form, I just saw adrenal support. Do you remember which one it was?
So it's another one by the doctor I'm seeing for my thyroid. It's just called adrenal support. I can get it and I can read it.
That'd be awesome.
That helps. Yeah, I have. So adrenal balance. It has vitamin C, riboflavin, vitamin B6.
Can I see the label?
Yes. Can you see?
And or the brand name? Adrenal Balance by.
So Dr. Christensen is my naturopathic thyroid doctor.
Okay. That.
So it has ginseng, ashwagandha, rhodiola.
Can you tell me the amount? How much ginseng? Which
it
kind
has
of ginseng?
American 100 milligrams.
Yeah.
And then 100 milligrams of ashwagandha.
Yep.
100 milligrams of rhodiola. 75 of tyrosine. And 20 milligrams of licorice.
Nice.
And I take 2 of those capsules daily.
How long have you been taking?
A few months, probably 6 months now. And I definitely feel like it was helping before my stomach has gotten even worse. But I really don't feel like it makes much of a difference now.
I never, if you've got another person that you're working with, I never like to contradict what they prescribe. If it was me, I would probably take more than 2. I'd probably do 2 in the morning, and then because you get that big slump between 10 and 1, so you could do 2 on waking, and then also like another 2 like 9:30 a.m. and that's totally fine.
Okay.
With those dosages, so you can, without overdoing it on a therapeutic dosage, you could even have like 20 in a day. So I'm not saying that you need. Yeah, so like you can go pretty high with some of those herbs that you got, and I love American ginseng. It's one of my absolute favorites. Really, really cool. So love the formula.
Okay.
Cool. And then the adrenals and the thyroid work together as well. So you've got something called the HPA axis, which is your hypothalamus pituitary gland axis. Oh, there's so much I want to go through.
So much.
How often are you getting dizzy now?
How often? I probably notice it maybe once a day. If I haven't eaten very much, or I'm very careful. I don't move. I move a lot during the day, but I'm just not super active. So I'm very careful, but I do notice it about once a day. Not more than that, but it was really bad before. I was noticing it several times a day. I would get dizzy pretty often. But now it's usually, like you said, when I stand up too fast or something, or if I lean over and pick my head up.
Have you checked your blood pressure?
I haven't.
Good idea.
Not recently, yeah.
I'd say it's probably on the lower side. So what can...
Yeah. It normally is. Whenever I haven't checked, it's very low.
Yeah. So what can be happening there? So when we get the dizziness when we rise up, the fancy name is postural orthostatic hypotension, which just means that your blood pressure drops as a result of changing your posture. So what should be happening is our cortisol and adrenaline, another function of them is to constrict the blood vessels. Just like if you're trying to run away from someone, you want to constrict the blood vessels so you can get the energy to the muscles. So if you kind of overtaxed with your adrenals, then that doesn't get released quick enough. And so it takes you a little while to stabilize. So it can be to do with your blood pressure. It can also be to do with blood sugar, because low blood sugar will lower your blood pressure as well. So that can be there. One lovely thing, so that would be one of the first things to go on your notes, it's super simple, is salt in your water. So if you're craving salt, you need salt. And then salt's kind of been demonized by everyone's like, oh, don't have too much salt. But it's very important for our body. And that can be a super easy way to raise the blood pressure and support the kidneys and the adrenals. So you can start with, say, just 1/4 teaspoon in water and just drink that in the morning. And then if that goes well, you can go to 1/2 teaspoon. If you're super low, some people even need 1 teaspoon in a glass of water. It doesn't taste amazing, so you can drink it through a straw or just going to block your nose. Okay. Cool. And that can just help to reduce that. It can be a lot of people's normal, but it shouldn't be happening. That's a sign that something's a bit out of whack.
Right.
Okay. Anxiety, just finishing off this one. Anxiety on a scale of 1 to 10.
I'd say about a 4 right now. It's not too bad. It's definitely manageable, and I can function right now. But there's been times when I couldn't, and I was in bed, most of the day, and it was terrible. And that makes you even more depressed because you can't take care of your family or anything.
Yeah. When was that?
Probably last year. It was started in February of 2018 and lasted until December of 2018, but did improve when my thyroid started improving.
Okay.
A bit, so.
And then, what was stressful about coming back to your hometown?
What was it like?
What was stressful about it? Because you said there was
nothing was really stressful. I just don't think I realized. I had just I need you to go in that room, please. I had two children that were 2 and 1. We had just taken in a girl who was 14 to live with us. We were only 24 at the time. And my husband's last job had just let him go. And so we moved back home, back to Northern California. And, you know, he had to find a new job. We were living with my parents. So now that I look back, I'm like, oh, that's kind of stressful. At the time, I didn't, you know, I didn't know better. I was 24, had no clue.
Yeah.
But I did notice when we moved back and my dad was cooking a bunch for us. He loves to make steak and he loves to load it with garlic. That's when I started having gas. And I was like, geez, what is wrong? Why is this happening? So that's the first time I really noticed I had gas. It never was that bad before. So I think it was a little bit stressful for a while.
The body is amazing at adapting and getting us through these situations. And then when we're out of it, it's like, oh, whoa, that was a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Lots of garlic. So that's all I'm going to go through there. Anything about the adrenals or anxiety or anything that I haven't asked that you want to let me know before I move on to the next bit?
I don't think so. I think we've covered it.
Okay. So then let's see what's next. Got those. Anything else I want to ask about your digestive system? Stomach pains or cramps? When do they come?
I get them once in a while with eating and sometimes something will hurt, but I rarely have pain, which I'm very thankful for. But I do once in a while, I do have very painful gas, especially when I was in this last flare. For about a week, my stomach hurt every time something I drank or I ate. And it was like gas cramps, very painful in my stomach area. It was like my stomach was irritated or something. I'm not sure, but yeah, I react to water. So yeah.
Do you know, so in that if you look at your belly button and then your right hip and then like draw a diagonal line and that midpoint there, do you get cramps there?
I heard you talking about that. I was trying to think if I do. And it's not something I notice.
Okay. So I often find like doing some belly massage that you can just do yourself. So a lovely little practice. So I've always got water bottles everywhere. So I've got a water bottle by my basin because you can't drink the barley water. So first thing in the morning, I'll just like scull almost a liter, and that just helps kind of flush through your digestive system. You won't absorb all of that because you can only absorb so much at a time. Right. But that's a really good thing to help with regularity. And then once you've done that, so once the water's in there, you can just lie back down on your bed for a little bit and do a bit of self-massage. I will put a link to the massage so that it's quite tricky to get the angle with your own hands to get that ileocecal valve. So if you do kind of get that cramping there, you can go see like an osteopath or a chiropractor, and sometimes they can just do a manipulation or an adjustment. And this can be a big thing that helps with relieving that trapped gas because the gas causes those cramps. And then other simple things, like it's old school remedies, but they're so simple and so effective, like a hot water bottle. So when you put a hot water bottle or a heat pack, it helps to draw more circulation into that area so it can help flush like fresh nutrients through.
Right.
And that's really, really nice.
Right.
And then also deep breathing into your belly. So if you can kind of add in some of these as a natural habit forming thing. So when we breathe deep down into our belly, it activates the parasympathetic nervous system again, which is our rest and our digest. And then I was talking about the sympathetic nervous system, like if we get scared of food. So if you are a bit nervous about eating, so it's wonderful if you can remember it. It might take some time, that's totally fine. When you sit down to eat, if you do 10 deep breaths into your belly, it just helps to calm down the body, and your body will digest the food a little bit better. And then I'll put a little link to the ileocecal valve massage as well.
Okay, perfect.
Cool. Tired eating, undigested food in stools. How often does that happen?
Once, no, I'll see, like, I haven't eaten them for a while, but pumpkin seeds I'll see, but that's pretty normal, right? I don't know. I don't feel like I see anything undigested. When I've done, I never see anything on the outside.
Okay, that's okay. So ideally we don't want to see anything. The only thing that doesn't really get digested is corn. So if you want to do your transit time, you can eat like a handful of corn, time when you eat it, and see how long it takes to come out the other end. That's quite interesting.
Good idea.
Ideally, we want 21 to 24 hours. Less than that, it's kind of moving too quickly through, so you won't absorb all your nutrients. More than that, it gets a little bit bunged up, and then you can reabsorb some of the stuff that you try next week. Okay. Back to the gas. So when you have the gas, does it smell like the rotten eggs, or is it just odorless?
I was trying to think about that because I saw someone else post about that. How methane dominant people usually have like the barn smell. I don't know if that's true, but I feel like it's very organic.
What does that mean?
But really terrible. Like, I don't think it smells like rotten eggs, but I could be wrong. I should ask my husband.
Yeah, why not? Because if it was, so apparently we all fart about 30 times a day. I don't really notice it unless I eat food. But if you get because the gas should be odorless, and then it carries the smell of what's in there. But then a different example is the hydrogen sulfide SIBO. So that one's got the rotten egg smell, and that would kind of be an indication there. I don't know how much you understood about your SIBO test results, so I'm just going to go through that with you now. Has someone explained them to you, or?
Yes. Wait.
So then what I see from this test result, so I look at your methane, so CH4 is your methane, and so your baseline is 57. So it's probably the highest baseline I've ever seen, just quietly.
That's what the doctor who ran this test was like, this is the highest numbers I've ever seen. And I was like, of course. Of course it is. I need Kirsten.
Yay. So what this says to me is that your baseline is high even before taking your lactulose solution. So it can either mean improper testing, so if you didn't do a proper prep leading up to the test, or it can mean that you have some level of fermentation happening all the time, always, which usually indicates LIBO, which is large intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So do you remember how you did the prep diet? Do you remember what you ate and how long you did it?
I feel like I followed it to a T.
What was they recommended?
So I think they recommend, I only ate white rice and chicken for that 12 hours or whatever. I think I ate it twice, and then I fasted for those 12 hours. So I'm wondering if maybe I needed a couple more days to prep. I don't know.
If your bowels are on the slower side, then I just recommend doing 2 days. If someone's having regular bowel motions and that's not even an issue, then I just say 1 day is enough. Because the purpose of the prep diet is to reduce the fermentation, so that when you drink the lactose, if the bacteria in there, they wake up, eat it, and then release the gas. Okay. So, and then with your methane, we look for a rise of 12 parts per million. And the North American consensus says anything over 10 at any time before 120 minutes is considered positive for SIBO. And then I go by the rise of, but you got both anyway. So the lowest preceding value. So your lowest value there is 27. And then at right, so you're looking for anything 39 and above is positive. So you are positive for sure at the 40-minute mark for the methane. And then if you look at this test result, the hydrogen doesn't look so bad. But when you clear out the methanogens, often what can happen is the hydrogen numbers rise. It doesn't so much mean that the hydrogen bacteria rise, but if you see CH4 and then H2, so it takes 4 hydrogen molecules to make up a methane molecule. So the methanogens eat the hydrogen gas. So you got lots of methane producing archaea in there, or lots of methane in your digestive system anyway. So as we bring down the methane levels, what can happen in to replace if the hydrogen rise. Just an FYI.
Okay.
But for hydrogen to be considered positive, you look for a rise of 20 parts per million, and you don't get that rise, but because your methane numbers are so high, it's a pretty good chance that there's hydrogen SIBO as well.
Okay. Yay! Yeah. Alrighty.
Okay. So just finishing off, let's see if there's anything else I want to ask. Strong urine odor, cloudy, bloody, or darkened urine. What's going on there?
I feel like it's kind of cloudy, and it just smells strong. Even when I drink a lot of water, I do feel like it smells.
Is it kind of like that hops, berry, yeasty smell?
Possibly. I don't. Yeah. I think so. I never even thought about
it. How much water do you drink in a day?
I drink at least 60 ounces, so probably closer to like 70 or 80.
What's ounces? How many glasses is that?
I don't know.
I'll Google it. 80 fluid ounces. Oh, that's heaps. So that is 2.3 liters, which is about 9 glasses of water. So that's plenty. Do you feel like it flushes straight through though? Do you go to the bathroom a lot?
If I am drinking that much water, I have to go to the bathroom all day.
Okay. So what I definitely think that salt would be great for you. So the in every cell, it sounds like you are drinking the water, but not getting the hydration because it doesn't get into the cells. So every cell membrane has a sodium-potassium channel. So sodium is salt. So sodium will help to draw the water into the cells. Okay. So you probably need to urinate so much. Oh, okay. Dun, dun, dun. Just finishing off with your menstrual cycle, anything significant around there? You said depression during periods, PMS, crave chocolate, gain weight, decrease sexual interest.
Yes. I just get so tired and very irritable, and so I was trained to work because my thyroid doctor is also a hormone specialist as well, and she just did my estrogen to progesterone ratio last week when I was on day 19 and 21. My estrogen I think was 198 and my progesterone was like 2.7. So so she's like, okay, well, we have a problem there, because I'm very, very irritable. Just, she's like, I'm pretty sure you have a problem, but we finally just got around to testing that. So she wanted me to start taking 100 milligrams of progesterone. I guess, yeah. So,
have you started taking that?
I was going with that. Sorry.
Have you started taking that one?
What was that? Sorry, I couldn't hear.
Have you started taking the progesterone?
No, I needed to get a hold of her and ask her because she had originally had me taking 50 milligrams day 14 through 25. So I wanted to make sure she still wanted me doing it 14 through 25 or if she wanted me to do it every day. So I didn't know. So I have not started that yet because I'm on my cycle right now. So.
Okay. What I would like to do, if you want to, like I remember how I talked about maybe if we get on and I feel like I can help you, we can do more sessions. So if you want to do that, we really can.
Yeah.
Of
course.
What I would love to have copies of those test results and then I'll have a look through. I don't want to step on anyone's toes. So if you maybe want to let you do it as well, no, and I'm happy to say hi to her if that makes her feel better. Yeah. And this is kind of thing. So if we have like the estrogen dominance, yes, your progesterone is low, but then also can be to do with the clearance. So hormones are chemicals in the body, and then I often find with digestive stuff and your skin stuff, and there's a couple, and you said something about headaches as well. So like liver support is amazing. And then if you clear the excess, then the others have a chance to rise as well. And then how I was talking about the HPA axis, there's also the HPG axis, which is the hypothalamus pituitary gonadal axis. And that's our reproductive hormones. And then there's this thing called the pregnenolone steal. So my video ended. Oh, this one's still going. I think they went over to an hour. So the pregnenolone steal. So pregnenolone is your base steroid hormone, and that can be used to make other hormones. So if you are under stress, and then cortisol, so cortisol is the stress hormone, and that comes from the HPA axis. So that's going to take priority. So it steals pregnenolone to make more cortisol. So I often find like with the more adrenal support, that can come back into balance too.
Okay. Perfect.
Cool. Share. I didn't get to save it. Anyway. Okay. So great. Anything that I haven't asked that you would like to ask me or tell me?
There you are. I was going to ask you, I was taking an immune system support powder for my IgA.
Yeah.
Should I continue to take that, or should I just wait and heal my gut? I feel like is it just not really going to, I feel like any supplement right now isn't going to work because my gut's not going to absorb it.
That's okay. If you would like to, I'm going to put in your Google Drive folder, because everyone's got one, like a supplement stash. So if you want to upload pictures of the front and the back, and then I'll check all the different ingredients, see what we can use from there.
Okay.
What I would like to do, so like the first little bit, I'm just going to get you to do that food journal, and then next week I'll get you back in next week, and then we'll go through what's going on from there and see how you went with introducing a few new foods.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to calm down your digestive system before doing any sort of antimicrobials. So with your SIBO test results and your doctor's data test results, there is definitely SIBO. And then I think there's also like an overgrowth of the not so good ones. Another really good test is the U-biome. So I think that would be a lovely one to do. It's only $89 compared to some others that are quite expensive. And that one shows the diversity in your microbiome. And a single kit is $89, or the test kit of 3 is $180 or $190. It's called the time. No, it's not too bad. And then it's nice to kind of see where you start. We'll test it again, say in about 3 months' time, and then you can test it again in a year's time. You can track your progress.
Okay.
So I feel like that's definitely out of balance. So I'd like to kind of make sure that you are eliminating nicely and supporting the liver to get the excretion happening through the feces and the urine rather than coming up through your skin.
Okay.
Because if you were kind of just to go into the antimicrobials now, you'd probably feel awful. Like you'd get headaches. The die-off, people talk about die-off.
Yeah.
Die-off ideally shouldn't happen. So if your body is cleansing at the correct rate, then you are processing out all the stuff that you want to.
That would be ideal. I'd rather not feel even worse.
Yes. Cool. Okay. So I'll get you to do all that for me, and then I will type up your notes for you. And then when that's done, I will put them into your Google Drive folder, and then I will I'll email out the link to you.
Perfect. And then you did say I could take 2 in the morning when I get up of the adrenal. So 2 in the morning when I get up, and then 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
2
mid-morning, I would say. So say 2 when you wake up, and then the 2 around 9:30, 10, because that's when you have.
Yeah, that's when I'm tired. Okay. Okay, I'll try that and see what happens.
Ooh. Okay. So then the specifics for everyone are quite different, and then what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks. So I would love to catch up every week, so we go through different things, see how you're progressing, what do we need to tweak. Amazing. I love it. And so then when I feel like your body is a little bit cleaner and stronger, we can start with the different antimicrobials and get rid of the SIBO. And then at the same time, you'll be doing things to like increasing your food to support your microbiome. It's so much fun. And so then that part is usually 6 weeks. So the quickest is 4, and the longest I usually do antimicrobials is 8 weeks. So that's like the arty stage. And then after that one is the rebuilding. So repairing like your mucous membrane lining, extra support with your microbiome, looking at the enzymes, the stomach acid and motility, all those sorts of things.
Okay. Good. I'm excited.
Me too. I love
I
it.
feel like this is the answer I've needed for the last 5 years. So
It's crazy how long things can go on. And because it's like our digestive system, we can still function, but it just kind of puts a cloud over everything.
right, right.
Okay, so Thursday, I'll just see if I can find a regular time slot for you.
Okay.
Thursday. Are you able to do, what time is it now? What time is it there now?
It's 8:30, I think. Let me check. Hang on 1 second. I'm gonna pull up my calendar.
No problem.
What time is it?
8:30.
8:30. Yeah, so it's 8:30 here.
Would that be okay for 8:30? No, 8:15 next Thursday.
8:15 next Thursday. Yeah, that should be fine.
Cool. And that one's just half an hour. So the follow-ups are just half an hour.
Okay, 8:15. Okay.
Super.
Okay, awesome.
Okay. Amazing.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited.
You're welcome. If there are any questions, just let me know, and then
Okay.
I design a treatment protocol for you. And if I need to order any supplements, I'll just send out. And what I like to do, so if I had, I would send out an invoice for the first one so you can kind of see how I work, and then I create a profile for you. And then with your permission, I charge your card. So I would just order products from my supplier. I always cover shipping. It's just what I do. And then they'll just arrive on your door 1 business day later.
Okay, that's perfect. It's fine with me.
Awesome. Okay.
All right.
Then
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. And then I'll see you next week.
All right. Bye, Kirsten. Have a good night or good day.
Bye, lovely.
Bye.